you might run one play where it's like, you have Goodwin and Pierre Garçon on the outside. Okay, they were driving up the field. Okay, you know what? You guys take a breather. I'm going to sit you out for 2 plays. Dante Pettis, Kendrick Bourne, go ahead and go in. Okay, you guys come out. Now you guys go. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can interchange so much. Yeah, you can interchange so much that, I don't think we might not even see a 1,000-yard guy just because
so many
weapons spread wrong. Because you're going to be throwing the ball. Because, Jerick McKinnon's going to get his coming out the backfield. Kyle Juszczyk's going to get his. George Kittle. I mean,
so many capable guys.
Are you listening?
See, now that I got it fixed, I can't stop playing with it. Ronbo Sports here, representing the Niner Empire organization worldwide. Oh, fam, and go ahead and finish it where 49er football never ends. How you doing today? And I never take it for granted, fam. Thank you for allowing me to talk some more 49er football. You got any comments, any questions, anything like that? Always forget to take them. Leave them comments if you're not joining us for the shows on Sundays at Red Go Radio and all that stuff. You can do that when you ever get a chance to as well. Hey, fam. You hear that music? You know what that is? That's Vegas. That song is Vegas, Las Vegas. Fam, we have been ranked by Las Vegas to win at least 9 games this year. That's the majority of the games we're going to play. When was the last time we could say that? For years and years, teams come into our house and we get to read down a little caption down and it says, 49ers, no, the opposite team is favored to beat the 49ers by at least 3. See, you know why 3 bothered me more than 6 or 7? You know why? Because you have the advantage of a 3-point spread when you're at home. You're allotted 3 points for the home field advantage. So if they say the team's gonna beat you by 3, essentially what they're saying is you're gonna lose by 6. Ow! Okay, but they haven't done that this year. I'm so delighted. And I make that point because we're getting some respect. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Except for every now and then you see things that you just can't understand why it gets started. I am talking about the disrespect we're getting on certain websites when people say things like, my favorite of the day was, pump the brakes on the 49er hype. I'm not going to mention, oh, I do want to, so I'm not going to mention the publication, but I want those people to know, and you probably know who I'm talking about. I said some things I probably shouldn't have said to you. I apologize, but I can't wrap myself around losing to begin with. Why do people assume that it's delusional to think we're going to win? Things like, people, the one that got me the most, real 49er fans know not to get don't start saying things like 10, 11, 12 games, because real 49er fans, we don't think we're going to win? Wow. So I jumped all over that, and I wasn't rude about it, though. Here's what I'm saying. I cannot wrap myself around assuming I'm going to lose. I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. So I got all over that. Now, here's the thing about Jimmy G. The prognostication that Jimmy G will not continue winning. We should calm down on Jimmy G. We've not seen his whole body of work and all that conversation. Fam, I want to draw a comparison. Let me roll you back to 1979. Eddie D had just went through a 2-14 season. He had enough. 1979, he says, Bill Walsh, come and run my team. Bill Walsh. Walsh comes in the 1979 draft. He drafts a kid out of Notre Dame. He goes by the name of Joe Montana. That's only the beginning. We don't know anything about this kid yet, but we do know that Walsh handpicked him. Don't know why. Don't even know Walsh that well. We know he's from Stanford. That's all they know about that time. He gets in there. He already inherited Steve DeBerg. DeBerg is his starting quarterback in 1979, so he stays with DeBerg. They go in 2-14. his drafted kid from Notre Dame, the child of great expectation. He gets a few games in here and there, but only in bits and pieces. It's a 2-14 team. Of course he's going to let his kid get in. He picked him. 1980 rolls around and the 49ers look a little better. Walsh has finally got things rolling. You see, Steve DeBerg is actually the person who implemented Walsh's West Coast offense first. He wasn't bad. In fact, DeBerg was actually leading the league for a little while in pass attempts and completions. DeBerg's biggest problem was his INTs and his penchant for turnovers. So Walsh is trying to stay with him. But Joe Montana's getting in here and there. They go 3 games in a row. DeBerg wins the first 3. The second 3, DeBerg gets the game number 6. It's against the Dallas Cowboys. Boom, he self-destructs. Game 7, Walsh has had enough. Enter Joe Montana. Joe loses a game to the Los Angeles Rams that day. He goes on to lose 4 in a row. Remember that number I just gave you. He loses 4 in a row. But then came that game against the New York Giants in Week 12. Joe wins it. Now, Walsh is not actually, he doesn't want to give up on DeBerg yet. He only did that, figured to give DeBerg a little break like how managers like to do. I'll sit my starter down, give him a little rest and see what happens. He did. DeBerg comes back in, starts. Joe comes in and relieves him. From that point on, it was Joe's team. He wins 3 out of the remaining 5. And from there, he writes the legacy that justifies why we call him the GOAT. Now you will get arguments, of course. But let me tell you something, fam. 4 Super Bowls against no losses. That has not been achieved by anybody. You can win 5, 6, all you want to. But if you lose, you're not in the Joe Montana ring. He is the greatest of all time. Now, I'm going to continue to connect the dots. Steve Young, let's go to 1991. Steve Young, he comes in. He's doing a pretty good job, and the fans love Joe so much at this point, they don't want Young to come in and take over. Joe's still winning. Sit down, Steve. Joe gets hurt in the 1990 playoffs toward the end of the season. The right elbow is injured. He goes into the 91 season, that elbow is still not right. Joe's trying to his best. Oh, he does not want to go under the knife. But he does. In October of 91, Joe Montana has surgery on his right elbow. Carmen Policy announces to the public Joe's okay, doesn't want to get any details about the elbow, but he announces that he's out for the 91 season. Enter Steve Young. Here's something else I want you to remember. 4 games out of the first 7, Young loses. He wins 3, loses 4. From there, though, he goes on to write a Hall of Fame book. The Steve Young, one of the most classiest guys that ever comes out of the 49er organization. Big Steve! Now, fam, I pointed that out for a reason. Joe lost 4. Steve lost 4 of 7. You see where I'm going with this? Fam, you know what I want to do? I want to run this story by you real quick. It's one of my favorite of all times. You know who Babe Ruth is? Babe Ruth, Boston Red Sox. One of the greatest baseball players of all time. Even to this day, people still talk about the Babe. From Boston. For some reason, he started in Boston. But the Red Sox traded to the New York Yankees for reasons that are not quite clear. The Babe goes to New York and becomes an icon that took years to catch. Boston messed up. And from that day on, from that year on, Babe Ruth made the New York Yankees America's team. It was a curse of the Babe for Boston, who went on for generations and never even get back to the postseason play or anything resembling a World Series. You see, here's what I'm thinking. What we did this last year Robert Kraft, for some reason, he can't let go of Tom Brady. But we understand the attacks. I'm not going to get into all of that right now. Bill Belichick's instructed to make that deal with the 49ers or whomever he wants to. Imagine that's what Kraft said. I don't care where you send them, but he's got to go. Bill gets on the phone because he trusts Kyle Shanahan. You know all the stories surrounding that. He likes John Lynch. You know the story behind that. Call San Francisco. John, you want to continue with that deal we talked about? Jimmy Garoppolo here for you. Now, Belichick even knew at that time this was a bad move, but he had to go through with it. So, of course, we settle. We settle. I use the term loosely. We settle for Jimmy Garoppolo. He's on his way to San Francisco. Little did we know. Could it be the curse of New England? Or shall I call it the curse of G? Gets underway. Because you see, why did the Patriots lose the Super Bowl to a team like the Eagles? And granted, the Eagles are a good team, but we're talking about the polished machine called the Patriots. If they lose next year, I'm telling you something's up. I am a superstitious guy. Because if Jimmy G comes in next season with us and we win, oh, I smell something's up. We could be that next Yankee-type organization. And I draw that comparison for this reason as well. Jimmy G comes in the middle of the season. He knows little to nothing. He knows nothing about Kyle Shanahan's playbook. Nothing! Kyle gets him in there, they brief him. That's all he can do. He's out there taking snaps behind CJ. He gets a few. He doesn't know Marquise Goodwin. Pierre Garçon's sitting down. He doesn't know Kendrick Bourne. He doesn't know Trent Taylor. He doesn't know these people. He comes out there, what does he do? With all the swag and smoothness in the world. He walks out on that incredible night against them. Of all teams, the Hawks. Give me the ball. Boom. Within 1 minute, he takes the 49ers from about 10 yards, 11, 15, 12, something like that, into the end zone. And you know what happened after that? Fam, I'm trying to tell you, Jimmy G, and I've seen a lot of quarterbacks in my time. I am not 11 or 12 years old. I'm going to tell you right now, and I say this with no shame, this is the most extraordinary, incredible young man starting. I've never seen anything like this. Big Ben Roethlisberger, he's not a 49er. I didn't pay that much attention to him. He went 13-0 to start his career. Jimmy G's got 7. If he wins 6 in a row to start the season, can he then begin to get the respect that he deserves? This kid comes in and he's not normal. He's nowhere near the kind of person that's going to come in and just start losing or falling apart. Tell you something else too. Kyle Shanahan, every quarterback that's been with him and had any kind of skills at all, went up a level. Can you imagine? Nobody had Matty Ice in any MVP conversations before Kyle Shanahan set foot in the Atlanta city limits. Now look at Matty Ice. He returns to normal. Jimmy G was good before Kyle got him. He was good last year with a few rehearsed plays. What is he gonna be like with a full off season? Knows the playbook. He's got one of the best play callers in the game, calling the game. They're building that team around Jimmy, if you haven't noticed. That team is about speed, speed, speed. How quick does Jimmy G get rid of that ball? He reads that defense with a mind like a machine. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. The INTs you've seen were not completely his fault. The excuses for the other teams losing last year, I'm not buying it. This kid's got skills. Leave it right there at that. I said it. I'll never take it back. Look out for 2018. Jimmy G and the 49ers. And by the matter of fact, the offense I speak of is getting no respect either. People still saying things about the offensive line. They're still saying things about the players involved. This is what I want to talk to you about right now. Let's go to the cab and discuss more of why this team is ready to roll. Niner fam, I know it's off season, but the diehard Niner fam, this is a lifestyle. We don't ever stop talking about football. Teran is here, and we're about to talk about everything red. Go, Teran, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Looking forward to it. Can't wait for the season to start. Can't come soon enough, man.
Boy, I tell you, we got a little while to go. Teran's out. To show you how the Empire Teran's originally from California, but now he's out in Vegas enjoying all that sun and fun, and he can go down to the casinos. But Teran, I have a feeling you don't go to the casinos, do you?
No, I do. Well, during football season, I go every weekend and do sports bet.
Hey, there's been a new law passed. They were trying to get rid of gambling. I don't know why they were trying to work so hard on that, but the judge just struck it down. I have a feeling the judge is probably the person that plays games himself. So I said, good. Stop bothering people about that. We like that. It adds to the fun of the game to have to sit there, their heart racing 100 miles an hour because you got a wager. I like that feeling. Ah, man. But Teran, let's get down to this now. Here's the thing, Teran. The offensive line. Teran, are you comfortable with the offensive line? Because at this point, people, you know how people crying at the end of last year, crying, we need to get an offensive line to protect Jimmy G, man. We gonna get him killed. Everybody was crying about that. So they've addressed the offensive line. And I want to know, are you okay with it? Joshua Garnett is gonna come back and join us. But the Joshua Garnett Hater Club, which is one I don't fully understand, the man hasn't put in that many snaps. People just be hating on him. He's lost 20 pounds. He's dedicated. Unlike Trent, I think was asked to do the same thing. Trent couldn't do it. It's not that easy to lose 20 pounds when you're a big man like that. So I'm, sure, part of that club or not. I don't know. And there you go. So anyway, and we got lots of depth. Teran, give me some feedback, man. What are you thinking about the offensive line now? Are you good to go, or you got some things you want to change?
No, I think I like the offensive line. I think my only worries is health.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think that's the only issue. Because we have the depth. I think what's it called? I know we picked up that. Remember, we got Mike Person too.
Yeah,
so we picked up him. He played with Shanahan for 2 years, and he can play tackle and guard as well. Yeah. So, yeah, right now my predictions are pretty good. I think obviously it's going to be Staley and McGlinchey at tackle. You're going to have Weston Richburg obviously at center, but the guard position I think it's up for grabs. I think Jonathan Cooper wins that left guard spot because out of the guards we have, he is the most talented.
I've had this argument. We always think a lot of I love Jonathan Cooper and what he brings to the table. Again, though, the health thing is what you mentioned. Jonathan always had some bad luck.
He did, yeah. So I think he wins that left guard spot because but I think right guard is up for grabs. I think, like you said, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with Joshua Garnett showing dedication and losing 20 to 25 pounds. Now he's more agile, probably a little bit more quicker now. So, but I think Laken Tomlinson might be a little motivated for not getting that fifth-year option picked up.
That's it. And you know what? I think that's why they did that. They denied Laken trying to get some more out of him and test his mental fortitude. Are you going to sit back and cry and start talking about trade me then? Or are you going to get out there and get busy?
Exactly. Because I think, if he goes out there and he balls out and he beats Joshua Garnett out and he's our starting right guard and he has a good year, I mean, they'll re-sign him. I can almost guarantee that, So I think you're right. I think that denying that fifth-year option pretty much is telling them, hey, spot's up for grabs. It's not given to anybody. So if he goes out there and does his thing, we have some good depth. And if somebody does get hurt, say if starting left guard is Cooper and right guard's Tomlinson and Joshua Garnett, is the backup. One of them get hurt, we still got a quality backup to step right in. So
and on and on and on. I tell you what, because when I look at all those first round draft, I mean, Teran, I think Weston Richburg, I think he's a second round pick. But that's first round draft picks, including Laken Tomlinson and Jonathan Cooper. And Jonathan Cooper, as you know, is the most saddest case. Arizona tried to keep him. He was high in the first round, too. They tried their best to keep him. You saw that game. I've got mixed feelings about it because I said, DeForest Buckner, against Dallas, Jonathan, he held that huge man at bay. As the Dallas Cowboys was running the run game, I said, that's the guy we got? When I first saw that's the guy we got that guy? I said, Jesus, I like that. So,
And people forget, and not only was Jonathan Cooper a first-round pick, he was a top 10 pick. Ooh. He was picked number 7th overall.
Yes.
So I mean, I think he was a first guard taken in that draft.
Yeah.
So he has talent. It's just like you said. It's just health. If he can stay healthy, he's dominant. He's a dominant run and pass blocker. So
Man, please stay healthy, Jonathan. The run, because Teran, if the run game works for Kyle Shanahan, you and I, we know that means Kyle Shanahan, he gets to open up that entire can of whoop ass. That means all his little plays and everything, bootlegs, rollouts, everything comes together to become unstoppable. That's man, I can't wait. And now, and I want to say now, as we talk about the run game, Jerick McKinnon, his offense, it's going to differ so much from last year. We watched. I'm not going to say nothing bad about, and I know you're not going to say anything bad about. I mean, Carlos did the best he could with what he had. I felt sorry for the times they would say things like, Carlos, most of those yards he had to get on his own. And I was quietly thinking to myself, yeah, but if Carlos would have found the right hole in the first place, he wouldn't have had to be banging through people like that. You look at Jerick McKinnon, what do you see?
I see a back that has a lot more speed than Carlos Hyde. Same thing with Carlos Hyde. What bothered me about him, man, I love the guy. He gave us some good years, when he was healthy. The man's 6'2", 230. He danced around too much for me. 230. As soon as you get that ball, you just hit that hole. I mean, you're big enough to knock over linebackers and everything, but to me, sometimes he played a little timid. Do you agree?
Yes.
It's like, man, you're too big to be sitting back there trying to dance, and you're not Barry Sanders, you're not Devontae Freeman or one of these little smaller backs. You need to just take off like David Johnson. And I mean, Todd Gurley, they get that ball and they just hit that hole automatically. So, but with Jerick McKinnon, I think he's to me, he's a Devontae Freeman clone. I'm not saying he's as good, but I mean, he's a Devontae Freeman clone. And and people forget, Devontae Freeman had his best years with Shanahan.
1,000 yards on the ground, 500 in the air. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
What do you see for Jerick this year? Can you give a ballpark figure on what his numbers might look like?
Pretty similar, I think. I say he gets over a little bit over 1,000 yards rushing, probably about between 400. I say between 350 to 450 yards receiving. I say about 1,400 all-purpose yards total.
You mentioned that. I wonder, does Kyle stay with the hot hand? After watching some games with the Falcons during that run that they had, you seen Tevin Coleman. It wasn't always seemingly on cue, because coach will do certain things in a sort of sequence that makes you think that was by design. When I watched, you'd see Tevin come out, but it didn't seem like Devontae was having any problems. Between Joe Williams, Matt Breida, somebody's going to be Jerick's second. There's another one. Which one would compliment them?
I don't know.
It's tough.
That's a tough one because and everybody forgets too. I think we're bringing 5 or 6 running backs in the camp.
At least.
Kyle
likes many.
Yeah, because we have Jeremy McNichols. People still sleeping on him because he was. I mean, coming out of college, he was rated higher than Joe Williams, so he has talent too. And then you have who was that guy we got from North Texas? What's his name?
Oh, what is it? We just got him a few days ago, a couple of weeks ago. I know what you mean, but that's 3 running backs. Okay.
Yeah, that undrafted free agent guy that we just drafted. I mean, he has talent too.
Right. Tell me a little bit about him because I heard this guy is really good. I mean, somebody compared him to some names. I said, he's that good? Because I've not had a chance to look at him yet. But that's 3 solid running backs right there then. That you mentioned other than Jerry.
Got, and then what's the name too? Raheem Mostert still coming back. Yeah, and then what's that? So it's McKinnon, Breida, Williams, Mostert, McNichols, and then the undrafted free agent we got out of North Texas.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a competition. And there's going to be a surprise.
Oh, for sure. And he's kind of like McKinnon too. He's not as fast. I think he runs I think he's a 4.51 guy. But he's 5'10", almost 200 pounds, and looking at his film and stuff or his YouTube videos or whatever, and he catches the ball out of the backfield good too. So he's the ideal back for Shanahan's scheme. So
you see, these guys love that kind of thing where they got to be concerned with who you're going to keep and who you're going to throw away for the Seahawks to pick up. I say, okay, you guys, man, Because they got Pete Carroll's waiting. We become Pete Carroll's farm club to some degree. He picked up, of all people, can you imagine picking up a cornerback? Well, you know what? He fits all the intangibles. He's got all the size and everything else. It's just that he just can't catch. And he can't cover. So, we'll see what happens this year. Oh, man.
You remember when Pete Carroll picked up Mike Davis, too? Remember, we cut him and Pete Carroll swooped him up.
Yeah, I know. Real quick. Oh, his name is Jeffrey. I didn't know it. Jeffrey Wilson.
That's it, Jeffrey Wilson.
So we're going to see what he does, too. So, yeah. Oh, and speaking of, and since we're talking about defensive backs, the unit, he was, there was no way that Dante was going to stay on this team this year anyway. We got we have the most incredible, we went from nothing to too many. We've got more defensive backs this year. I mean, the talent. If you had to, Teran, where would you try to figure out? You're going to have to get rid of about 2 or 3, 4 guys. This is too many.
Sure.
Who are you keeping? I'm not even asking you to get rid of. Who are you keeping?
Okay, I'm keeping probably between 8 and 10 DBs. But the good thing about the DBs we have is we have, about 4 or 5 that can play safety and corner.
Right.
So those guys stay for sure. So if I had to pick, I'm going Sherman, Witherspoon. I think Jimmy Ward makes it through camp. I got Tavarius Moore, obviously. He's going to be another outside corner, I think. K'Wan Williams makes it. DJ Reed, Adrian Colbert, Jaquiski Tartt, and then I think we keep that guy. I don't think he suits up at all this year because he still has that Achilles injury, but I think we keep Marcel Harris, too, as a backup strong safety to Tartt. But I think what's good about Ward, what's good about Tavarius Moore, anything ever happened to Adrian Colbert, one of them two can step in and play and jump into free safety. And DJ Reed took snaps at free safety. So, but I think ultimately he has the skills, and everybody says he's only 5'10", but I didn't know he had 32-inch arms.
Yeah, right. The wings.
So, so the wingspan's good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got looks in the future at outside corner.
Tell you. They said he's capable of that, and he tells everybody he's capable of that. I love to hear him talk. I am a lockdown corner, and I can also play the slot. He's going on. I'll read this, and I'm picturing him, what I'm saying? DJ Reed, he believes in himself, and that's a good thing. Hey, you got 10 spots, so you gave me 9 guys. You got one more. Are you keeping Tavares McFadden?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, I think if it comes down to it, I think they would keep McFadden, and then I think Marcel Harris. If anything, they'll do him like they did. I think they'll do him. I mean, if they keep 10, but I say if they keep 9, if somebody has to be out, I think Marcel Harris. Even though he was a draft pick, I think Moore does have. McFadden has more talent. Harris, he might get IR like Joe Williams just because he's coming off that Achilles, so he might not even be ready.
Yeah, so one red shirt out of that group then.
Yeah, so I say one red shirt just to make sure he's fully healthy come 2019.
Yeah, all right. Because you threw the entire defensive backcourt together. That means you're going to go 6'4", possibly 5'5". Yeah. And a lot of those guys, as you mentioned, they can go both cornerback and safety. They got that kind of diversity. And I think they picked those guys out particularly for that reason. Because last year we suffered. Dante Johnson was somebody that I think they hoped would work out. But the back team, they had Tyvis Powell, Maben, and guys like that you can't really bring in and expect them to carry the load. So this year, they planned so well from what they learned last year. I'm impressed. Shanahan and Lynch.
Yeah, like me and you talked about when I did my mock draft, I was like, now these kids coming out of college, they're training them now to be versatile. So you can step in and play dumb nickel, you can play free, you can play outside, and that just gives you more versatility and more shot to be on the NFL roster.
And that's the bottom line right there. We can use it because coming into the league the first year, a lot of those guys we're talking about right now are going to be on special teams because we had some really. Man, we got an awesome special teams last year. And they got hurt, though. As soon as we lost Mostert, okay, that's why that kid in Chicago ran that ball because Mostert's got some crazy speed. I didn't even realize he could run that fast.
Yeah, he does. He's a 4.3 guy.
Yeah. Did you watch last year during the preseason, right? You watch how Mostert moved. I thought that maybe he just had good moves. But there's a quickness in certain guys like that they make it look effortless. And Mostert did as he was running through Kansas City. I said, look at Mostert. I had no idea. I thought he's a special teams guy. He's got how many yards has he got tonight? I remember that game, and I was just shocked. He comes in his first game and he fumbles the ball. That wasn't against the Rams? Was it against the Rams? And we never seen him run. We never seen him out on the field again after that.
I believe so.
Yeah, but I can see him.
It was either the Rams or Carolina. It was one of them two teams. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so
he came out and he fumbled, and we didn't see him again.
No, hey, Teran, this is the thing about Kyle Shanahan. He may forgive you that day, but he will never forget what happened. I still argue that Carlos might have had a better chance had he made that catch or that touchdown. I think Shanahan doesn't look so hard to move away from him. Maybe he does, but that Jimmy G put that right where it needed to be. And it is said that Carlos didn't believe that Jimmy could bring it downfield. Carlos, it's not your job to think about what Jimmy. You do your job, and if Jimmy fails, it's on him. You're running down the field anticipating he's not going to be able to reach you. It was your fault. Run.
Yeah.
Oh, the wind came falling out of this. Oh, everybody was like, oh my God. That was a touchdown, Carlos. What did you do?
Yeah, it's gonna be some. You know what's funny too? This is just an assumption. I just have a feeling, Jimmy Ward's gonna go out if he can stay healthy and have a great year. I think it's gonna be hard for us to get rid of him. And I think if he plays 218, he plays all 16 games, and because that's why they kept him. You notice they picked up his 5th-year option very early. They were like, I don't care if you're making $8.5 million. We're going to sign you because when he's healthy, the man he does make plays.
He's good.
So
there's no two ways about it.
He's good. It's just
him and Kowalski. I mean, Kowalski is in the top 5 at that position in the NFL. Both of them just can't seem to. They play real hard though. That could be why they get hurt. Just like Adrian got hurt last year, although it was a minor thing. But these guys are playing hard. They put their bodies on the line on every play. You cannot condemn a player for that kind of attitude and that kind of effort. So John Lynch has already said, we really like Jimmy Ward. And players come into the league sometimes and they have these problems and they figure it out and they go on to have long careers and play a lot of games. And I think Lynch is applying that thought to Jimmy Ward. So people are so in a hurry to get rid of Jimmy because he gets hurt. That's not a reason to get rid of a football player. I understand it, but I don't.
It might be better. Yeah, I think they're looking at the number. Like, man, $8.5 million. He might only give you 8 games or whatever the case may be. But I kind of agree. It's like, unless you're like Arizona, where Jonathan Cooper was just, he was missing seasons. It's like, oh man. But Jimmy Ward does give you quality play. Yeah. And if he does have a great year, hopefully, they give him like a 1-year prove-it deal after this to just show it wasn't a fluke. Yeah. And then you can sign because he's still young. I think he's only like 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, 24, 26,
Yeah.
He's got to have time.
But I'm real excited about that Marcel Harris guy because they were saying that this 2016 tape was phenomenal. So they were saying that coming into the 2017 season, he was projected to go 2nd round if he stayed healthy. He was 2nd, 3rd round value. So he's a thumper. He's like that Ronnie Harrison guy from Alabama, kind of similar players. Yeah. And he went 3rd round. Yeah. So I think we got good value. Everybody's crying about we picking up Trent Baalke draft and all this other nonsense. But it's like but I think that if you look at good teams draft for the future. It's just Trent Baalke just was a knucklehead and didn't know how to draft. You look at DeAndre Smelter and all these other cats that they picked up, but this like Kentavious Street, it's like they're preparing for the future because if you redshirt him, because obviously he's not going to be able to play because he tore his ACL back in February or something, March. So he's going to sit out. So you look at Eric Armstead, if he doesn't work out and he just kind of flames out and he's just not good, you get rid of him. Kentavious Street step right in, or you look at the play too, because I think this is Earl Mitchell's last year if he doesn't get cut during training.
You're right
during preseason, because you got DJ Jones, you got depth, Julian Taylor, so they have good young guys coming in. So Earl Mitchell's already 30, I believe.
Yeah. And plus he didn't give us the kind of production we should have got from him last year against the run game. Yeah.
Because we're deep on that D line.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that D line. You mentioned Kentavious. Look at Julian Taylor. Julian Taylor he's going to change the image of Temple University. The more I watch film, I'm thinking the kind of competition he's dealing with, maybe that. But Julian Taylor manipulates that line of scrimmage really, really well. So we got so much forward to look to for preseason, them games. We're going to see these guys, how they work in the real deal with the pads on and everything else. It's going to be crazy, Teran. Crazy, man.
I heard you on Monday. What do you call your show? Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw, yeah.
The case may be?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard you talking, and you were talking about the Sam linebacker, and I'm really liking that Jeremy Atalcho.
See.
You know, he's another one too, because I think he's 6'3", about 250.
Yeah.
He can play the Sam as well. So we got some options at Sam with him. You know, Dakota Watson's more of a special teamer, but Eli Harrell can play the edge. I mean, the Leo plus Sam, and so can Atalcho. So I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, because I'll tell you that. And as I say, you point out all these athletes, the special teams is going to be ridiculous again. Oh man. Because those guys that aren't playing are going to be out there making plays. Both off when we got the ball and when we ain't got the ball. Gosh. We got Dante Pettis. We got also is that DJ? Is it DJ Reed also that returns kicks?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? They were both number 1 and 2 in the nation last year in yards.
I think 22 yards. I think was it 20 or 22? 20 yards for Pettis.
22 for Pettis, and then it was like 20 for DJ Reed.
Oh. So we'd have the ultimate. I'm concerned now. We got the ultimate 1-2 as far as kick and punt. I am concerned now for Trent Taylor. Is there a place for Trent Taylor on this roster continue? Will he become bench depth? Because no matter what anybody says, I like Trent Taylor for what he does. He's very good at it. He may advance and go to the next level. Am I going to put Dante Pettis on the bench?
For punt return?
For wide receiver as well.
For wide receiver? No, I don't think so. And see, I think what's good about because I think you and I can both agree Trent Taylor is mainly slot. He's just a third slot guy. He's not going to be an outside receiver. So I think with Garcon getting up there in age, and this is what's crazy because you look at our team, and I think Kyle Shanahan likes to interchange people, and so you figure you might run one play where it's like you have Goodwin and Pierre Garcon on the outside. Okay, they were driving up the field. Okay, you know what? You guys take a breather. I'm going to sit you out for 2 plays. Dante Pettis, Kendrick Bourne, go ahead and go in. Okay, you guys come out. Now you guys go. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can interchange so much. Yeah, you can interchange so much that, I don't think we might not even see a 1,000-yard guy just because
so many
weapons spread wrong. Because you're going to be throwing the ball. Because, Jerick McKinnon's going to get his coming out the backfield. Yep. Kyle Juszczyk's going to get his. Yeah. George Kittle. Yes. I mean,
so many capable guys.
Yeah. But if I had to pick, I know this is not one of the topics, but if I had to pick, I really do see us keeping 6 receivers, and I'm going Garcon, Goodwin, Pettis, Taylor, Bourne, and I know I'm missing somebody. Let me see.
Can I suggest Richie James?
Oh, Richie James, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. He's making the team.
Oh, he's such a dog.
Yeah, Richie James. Yep, they're keeping those 6 receivers.
There you go.
I think Dunbar goes to the practice squad.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
And
there you go.
I think
you don't gotta get rid of him.
I think you practice squad.
Yeah.
No, practice squad him. Hopefully nobody picks him up. So practice squad him and let him compete next year like Aaron Burbridge and all the way. Aaron Burbridge is gone. Aldrick Robinson's gone. Victor Bolden, I think, is gone.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
I do too. Some people really. I love Victor Bolden. I wanted to see him get more of an opportunity. It's the NFL, though. There's lots of opportunities. If somebody comes along and they got more talent than you, that's the way it goes. Yeah. Teran, it's been too much fun, man. Teran, you got to give me the holler out, man. I'm going to count 3, 2, 1, and give me that emotion as we are winning this game. 3, 2, 1.
49ers!
Getting practice film. We're going to be doing that a lot this year, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Teran. Always a pleasure, bruh. Look forward to talking football to you. Hey, Teran, man. And I want to see you on the weekends. Please, man, get on in there. I love when you talk football. So, hey, as a matter of fact, I'll see you. In fact, this weekend and tonight, too. Just keep your eye on the app, okay? We shall see you in a little. Hey, fam, please don't forget to like. You know how I love me. You know how I love me some likes them likes, share, and subscribe. Count me out, maestro.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Later!